Hey, thanks for joining the Bro Media podcast here. I'm Lazarus, your co-host here and co-founder of Bro Media podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Again, Lazarus, guitarist, entrepreneur, family man, father, husband, everything, everything good. I would want to say, right, Ryan.
Yeah, man. I
down to
mean, it's
earth,
always strive to be.
down to earth gentlemen, and we're here just to talk normal day-to-day stuff. There's a lot going on in the media. There's a lot going on that we haven't caught up with you guys because we've had work. We've had, I'll talk about highs and lows in a little bit, but just wanted to say, I'm glad you're here. Let's get to it. Ryan, go for it. Your intro.
Let's get to it, man. My name's Ryan, co-founder of Bro Media. My bro Laz, and yeah, it's been a minute since we did a podcast. I think we have a schedule, but sometimes our work and family lives and everything else just kind of gets in our there's no time left in the day, and we want to give you quality conversations. If we're both dragging and tired and feeling over it, it's kind of hard to produce quality stuff, or at least try to produce quality stuff. So we thank you guys for listening, tuning in. Wednesdays we do recorded podcasts, and then every other Monday we try to do a live version of our podcast, just to kind of keep it flowing and organic, so you guys can see how we do things. We really don't have a lot of editing that goes into our podcast. It's what you see is what you get. We kind of keep it real. We've got sometimes kids running into rooms. We've got dogs barking. We've got, things happening in our lives. But that's who, we're not trying to pretend to be somebody we're not. So thank you guys again for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we are, man, there's so much to catch up on. Highs and lows, I guess we should start off with. How was your week? How was it a couple weeks?
Yeah, so a couple weeks. You know this. I haven't announced it really much anywhere. I might have made a post on Instagram, but my low for me had a family death. It's unfortunate. Won't get much into it. But yeah, my uncle passed away. Gonna miss him, and family is doing okay through it all. Traveled down to Mexico. Haven't really seen a lot of my family out there. So it was, when there's death, there's new life also. So reignited some relationships, talked to some of my cousins. They're doing really well. And I guess that's the high right there, being able to speak to my family members and seeing how they've been doing. I really haven't seen some people like in 10 years.
That's good. And it's interesting how, unfortunate a turn of events can bring family closer together.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it, in my life with losing people and family members that haven't spoken to each other, or just don't see each other, or even had beef with each other. They squash it and they realize that life is precious, man.
Yeah, that was one of those things that we were all just kind of like talking. Not that I don't think there's really any beef anywhere on this side of the family, but it's just like, time flies and it's so easy to get lost in the day to day. And, my family out here, we're the only ones basically out here. Everybody else in Mexico is my whole extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles. So we're solo out here and they're out there. It's easier for us to go over there than it is for them to come over here.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's just one of those kind of like, okay, I got to make an effort. One, I want to show my kids like the roots of where the family comes from, especially because there is some good heritage that I can teach, my kids. My dad's side of the family, they're a family of farmers. My family has a really nice plot and property up in Mexico, very wealthy, sought after. It's one of the farm.
It's not the border town Mexico. It's like in Mexico, right?
My family does live in Mexicali, which is a border town to Calexico.
Oh, yeah.
But when I'm talking about farm, so you have to go up the mountains to get to the farm.
Oh, okay.
And that's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive to get to that location, to the family farm. But it's really cool out there.
From the border.
Yeah. So there's so and that farm is a pretty cool story. Like I was trying to get as much information just because I've never asked.
Yeah.
I asked, who thought about buying the farm. You know what I mean? Because that created like what my family is now. So
Yeah.
my tata,
What your uncle that he owned the farm?
it was right now it's under his name, the one that passed away.
Okay.
Um, and my grandpa handed it over to because he really was the one that was working and tilling, paying attention to the day to day. So, and
Do you think that will be passed on to someone else and they'll continue
there's a lot of talk
living
of
it?
what's going to happen. I don't know, but typically when something like that happens, they spread it evenly, like between the like next of kin,
Siblings.
yeah,
Yeah.
siblings and things like that nature. He has a son, but he lives out here in the States and wants nothing to do with him,
Uh,
unfortunately. But so I'm sure it's going to go to the brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles, and my dad. So I think that's just best case scenario. That should happen.
that's good.
You just never know, though.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your uncle, man. He sounded like a cool dude, and
Yeah, dude. Like his laughter, man. Like he was a life of the party. He was a jokester. Uh, just his energy that he like as soon as he walked in, he was there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
This man's like 6'3", 6'4", so super tall.
that's
Like,
a tall guy,
yeah, dude. Like my
man.
yeah, farmer, so he's thick, strong, dense. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, my
but so,
nephew was Hispanic. He was tall too, so
so such
you don't normally meet too
such a
many over
great
6 foot tall Hispanic people.
such a great personality, and from me reflecting like um the times that we would be out at the farm with the family because my mom and dad would drop us off here and there. Like they would go to like on their summer trip, they would drop us off in Mexico. My uncles would take us down to the farm and literally spend like a week or two up there. But yeah, I'm not a farmer, but I know my way around the farm,
Sure.
and I
Yeah.
remember him teaching me how to husk a corn, how to cut zucchini. I was trying to think the word. I was going to say zanahoria and carrots and
Bless you.
tomatillos. Like, they grow
Oh yeah.
they grow all that stuff, and I've picked that stuff, boxed it up. There's the wood boxes you literally hand make those with little nails, little
Wow.
boards,
That's cool.
line them with like that parchment paper, box them up
Yeah,
and load them up in the truck.
that's
So
cool.
so I appreciate that because I understand like that, my dad came from there, my family came from there,
Yeah,
and where we're at, it's because of them. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just
that's
cool.
cool. And it's got some cool roots and history to it,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, that's really like a first frontier family business
Yeah. It
in the
really is.
mountains.
That's
That's
a
a cool story.
that's a great way to put it. Never first frontier. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a family that made a business out of surviving in the mountains, farming. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool. That's pioneer stuff, man.
Heck yeah.
It's
It really is.
modern day pioneering and that's a cool legacy that your uncle leaves behind. So I'm sorry to hear that about him,
No,
man.
thanks.
And I hope that everybody is pray for peace and sometimes that's kind of seems superficial to say that,
It's
but really
not.
like
It's not.
you just have to, you just have to try to find peace when someone's passing. You know, when you die, you don't know you're dead. It's everybody else that's kind of left carrying that burden of missing you. So that's the worst part,
Yeah.
of moving on. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
man,
but yeah, highs and lows right there for me. Go ahead for yourself.
that's probably a low, I would imagine. Yeah, for me, man, I've just been swamped. Um, we uh I didn't even realize how tired I looked until I got on camera today. But I've just been burning it down, man. Just work has been good. Work's been consistent. We just finished a Costco uh, up north in Prescott, so we were working overnights, and so that's kind of strange to do. when you're not used to working overnights, and then you still have to do stuff during the day. So it's like when do you sleep? When do you find places to recharge? Uh, I do have a knee injury that I've been battling. I think it's a torn meniscus in my knee. I'd have to go get an MRI to really know, but I kind of think it is. It's really angry. It's been hard to deal with, so that's kind of a low. Uh, I've been favoring the other side of my body, so then that pulls my back out. So it causes this domino effect of it's just that's the curse of being a physical job where you're using your body for everything. The older I get, the harder it gets, but not done yet. I'm still I'm still running. Just throw another quart of oil in me, man. I might be smoking, but I ain't broken.
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, man, really just highs and lows. That was pretty much it. Just finished our first big job out of this new project vendors that we're using. And we've got 3 more lined up that are starting soon. But yeah, definitely being injured kind of sucks because you just feel it everywhere. You don't realize how much you rely on your knees until your knees start to give you trouble. you know, I
Yep.
mean, it's just stiff and it hurts and it's sometimes it's super sensitive. And, I don't know what's going on with it, but we'll see. I got adjusted today at the chiropractor and it went away, the pain. So he thinks it's something to do with my hips. And of course, an hour later, I can't chill. I'm doing more working, and it's hurting again. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
It's crazy how
Just getting old, man.
chiropractic actually does help. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like your geometry and the way that your foundation, which is your skeleton, how it's
yeah,
positioned and all that stuff.
yeah. Oh, it helps. I mean, he's a he's great, man. He's put me back together so many times, um, but yeah, I mean I don't really have too many
Okay.
highs and lows other than that, man. Just I've been so focused on work and growth with the business and the family that a lot of the fun stuff that I don't have there's not been much time to engage. I haven't been playing any bass. I haven't been in here much at all. Just kind of
It's that season, right
yeah,
before the holidays where you got to crunch. It's crunch time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so I.
yeah. Because the holidays could be busy, could not be busy. You don't really
Mm-hmm.
know, so you kind of have to get everything you can to try to pull off a Christmas and your normal bills and everything else,
Yeah.
and smile through it like ain't no big deal. You got to make it happen
Mm-hmm. But
because
heck,
I mean, I guess you don't have to, but
no, I get you.
it's
I get you. You want the best, especially for your family. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Like that's what Christmas is. Like giving your family that
Yeah,
spirit. You know what I mean? If you guys, whatever you guys do, traditions and all that stuff. So that's the important
yeah,
stuff. Well, I get you.
yeah,
I get you.
for sure. Well, there's a lot in the news that's taken place.
Too much stuff. So I'm gonna share our screen here. So let's do this. The screen. Let's share sound. All right, share. All right. Let
Oh yeah,
All right. So
this looks like an older clip.
it is an older clip, but the reason why we're bringing it up because he is now in custody.
Yeah, old Diddy.
Lil
Old
Diddy.
Diddy had a whole bunch of lube and, and stuff in his house, man.
So again, this is worth watching just because caught on camera. Sean Diddy Combs was seen patting down Justin Bieber. I think we might have even mentioned this a few months ago when we first started the podcast.
Yeah, I just
Um,
don't know why he was doing that. Was he doing it to see if he was wired?
like to me, that just looks like he's just like checking his chest, making sure there's nothing there. Um, that's if you ask me.
But he did he and Bieber looks defeated.
Oh yeah,
He looks
he looks wasted, man.
humiliated. Yeah.
He looks wasted. He looks like I don't want to be here. And just look at his hair and his mannerisms around him, it just doesn't look healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
So what I mean, now that he's under arrest, I'm not sure if you saw some of the charges. They're doing a whole RICO case against him. There's some crazy stuff that popped out. Like they found, what was it, like 1,000 bottles of lube.
Of baby oil,
It's
Johnson and
like,
Johnson. Man.
like that's crazy. Like maybe maybe if you're
They had
if
these
maybe
freak off parties,
maybe
man. I don't
if
even
you
know what that means.
maybe if you're a freak or two, you might have, your bottle and a backup, but a
Yeah.
thousand.
I want to know where this was kept. I want to know what, what, where do you put this stuff, man? And who does the laundry afterwards? Like that's got to be crazy. I've had, some spills with stuff similar that doesn't come off, and you're
But
just like kind of regretting it. So 1,000 bottles is
a
definitely a
thousand a
statement.
thousand bottles. They're doing a RICO because they saying that this is like organization, like this is more like an organization rather than just one person. So uh his
Yeah,
employees, um bodyguards, whatever, they're the ones bringing in this stuff, providing them drugs, baby oil, you name it, liquor,
that's crazy.
and then plus the human trafficking side of things, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, I guess okay, the oil is one thing, but uh, that's just weird. I think it's interesting, but
yeah,
I mean, what? Why? How many people are lubed up running around the house like you're a fall hazard at that point? You're shellacked up.
yeah. So
But yeah, the sex trafficking, and I think that's an interesting thing. Like, I think though unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever know the whole story.
I don't think we will, and I kind of
Yeah.
had the same thought. Everybody is keeping quiet. Nothing's
Then
gonna
he's got that sweeping under the rug money.
Nobody's gonna say anything unless it gets leaked, and at that point, I do believe if whoever leaks, whoever's name gets leaked, they're gonna be like, I'm a victim, I'm a this, I'm that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of this. I've mentioned this before. I get angry that nobody speaks up. You know what I mean? They
Right.
see all these horrendous things happening, and just because they want their fame, they want their opportunity, they want that record deal, they want that
Yeah.
movie deal, and they don't say nothing until stuff starts hitting the wall. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yeah. It's
that's
acceptable until they need to leverage.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the worst thing that I hate about these situations is because of that. So,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah, dude.
frustrating.
I still want to know what the deal is with all the baby oil. And what do you do with baby oil? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of the loop.
I don't know, it's gross.
Maybe I'm boring.
All right. So, next, I'm not sure if you saw this, but the 23andMe board just resigned. Like all of them. Do you know what 23andMe is?
Of course.
That's the
Yeah.
whole like DNA gathering. That's, you send in your swab, and they tell you
I'm
where
on there.
where you're from. You're on there, dude.
Yeah, I'm on there.
Oh no.
Why? What
They
happened?
have all your DNA and your your information. I'm skeptic about that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
My whole family's on there, man. It's interesting. I learned like I mean I know that it's mostly true because my mother was full-blooded Italian. It tells you where you're from, which was accurate. She passed away.
so so
So
when
there was
so when you did it, what was the goal? Like as a
I
user,
think
because
I
I'll
wanted
give
to know
yeah.
more about my genetics,
Okay.
and I wanted to know I had certain genes like that MTHFR or whatever they call it, the MFR gene. I wanted to know if I had a sensitivity to certain foods. Um, I wanted to know if I was susceptible to Alzheimer's. Um, and I have all these markers that say that I'm not. So I was curious if I had gotten my mom's genes, which everybody in her side of the family is passed on. And her parents, her brothers, they all died of. So, I think a couple of them heart failure, and the other ones were like cancers, certain sort of cancers. So,
Gotcha.
uh,
Did you ever?
on my dad's side,
Did
he
you?
died of melanoma, and I still have two brothers that are alive and kicking.
Did you
So
ever
skin
like
cancer.
reach out to like? And I'm just asking because like obviously 23andMe and these other companies that do this, they're private companies.
Yeah.
Not saying that a doctor isn't, but did you ever check with a doctor to see if they can do that on their end or anything like that?
No, I just jumped on the wagon.
Mm.
I didn't really see anything wrong with it at the time. I mean, you have my DNA, you have my DNA. It's just spit. You spit in a tube, and it doesn't give you my social or my my banking information and all that stuff. It just
You have a clone out.
tells you where I'm from.
You have a
I'm
clone out there,
50.
dude.
I'm what?
You
I
have
do. I have a son.
you have a clone out
That's
there.
not how I found my son that popped up at 25 years old. But when I did meet him for the first time, he's like, "Do you mind if I do the 23andMe just so we like show links?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't mind." So, but yeah, that would be interesting to find out that way.
And that's just what worries me. Like, obviously, we don't know what they're doing with this DNA because they're basically gathering all this information, housing it into one place. Are they selling it? Are they giving it to the government
Yeah.
and all that stuff? And that's just the conspiracy theorist in me, like
Yeah.
that
Well,
holds
I'm
me
pretty
back.
small fish, you know what I mean? Like I don't really have a reason to, I have a history of family history, genetics of my mother's side
Mm,
of all kinds of stuff. So it was me. It was like inquiring, my dad passed away at 41 years old, and of skin cancer. My mom had colon cancer when she was 35. And
right.
then she passed away at 75 of pancreatic cancer. So I just wanted to, kind of give myself any heads up and cues to
Yeah,
my
see,
genetics.
now that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you had a
Yeah.
purpose for it, rather than just saying I'm 4% black. You know what I mean? Like,
No, yeah. In fact, it's in fact I'm 52% Italian and 48% Irish.
all right,
Yeah.
I see both of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, I hate myself because they used to fight each other all the time.
gotcha.
That's my tagline. If somebody asks me.
All right, let's
The joke isn't as good.
all right. So we've all been watching uh polls and everything coming through, but polls are leaning towards Trump.
Are
Um,
they? That's good.
so electoral college model, according to Nate Silver, they're saying that there is no toss up. If election was held today, Trump would win around 312 electoral votes, and
Oh,
Harris would have 226.
you know, they it's pretty crazy that the two assassinations attempted on this dude, they've all been connected to BlackRock. They're in BlackRock video commercials. Uh, I sent you, I think, an Instagram today talking about that lady. I can't think of her name. She's the White House spokesperson, and they're always giving her a hard time.
Jean Pierre.
But yeah, she took a question today from a dude, and he was like, "So when are you gonna stop saying it was an attempt?" And she basically just walked off the stage and said, "That's all for now." Like she, cowered it out, didn't respond to that question. But it's true. Like I don't. If you want to unalive somebody so bad, um, because you're afraid of him becoming president, why? You know what I mean? What the they're not really saying much about the White House, Kamala and Biden. They're just like, oh, we don't have tolerance for violence. Well, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I can throw a blanket over a fart. There's still a fart under the blanket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was a really stupid statement. And they don't care, and they know that uh, they know that it's who knows, man. I think they what happens if I'm trying to say it without flagging us. What happens if you know this this does actually happen, and then what? Is there still an election? Do they throw somebody in the last month? Because I really feel like Kamala just kind of came out of nowhere, um, and is caught. I think I've heard some statements in it. Who knows? It could be AI or whatever, but basically saying like Joe's pretty much senile and she's taken over. You know, I don't know if that's true or not. It's some speculation. Who knows? AI can make
Yeah,
AI can take your voice and make you say crazy stuff.
yeah. So, like now that you mentioned, especially like the two this new assassination attempt, I think they just they found bombs and was it Long Beach? Not Long Beach. Where was he? Long Island. Is that where he went?
Yeah,
So
dude had a record of weapons of mass destruction from like the 90s.
it's just like the media, all these politicians, they worry people, especially because they're, right now everybody's on their phones watching minute
Yeah,
by minute. Oh, Donald Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. That's like the biggest thing that you hear about him right now, especially coming from
yeah,
like the Democrats and the media. And they keep
for
saying
sure.
it, they keep saying it, they keep saying it like it's true. And at that point, somebody like these guys are buying into it. They're freaking out wherever they're at. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah,
go and do something about it. I th- they need to stop that.
yeah.
Like literally, that's just plain and
Well, and
simple.
these people that are trying to kill this guy are like Captain Chaos from South Park. You never seen that episode where
Mm-mm,
he has a can of hairspray and he's
mm-mm.
spraying it into the ozone layer and he's like, ha, ruining the world. You know what I mean? These goofy people that don't shoot, thankfully, don't shoot well, and they have these weird motives. And we haven't heard a statement. What are they talking about? This new guy at all?
Not,
I mean, obviously they can't
not,
talk about the first one. He's not alive, but
yeah, not really. Other than I've been watching on X, just because I feel like I get really good, accurate information on X, and maybe
yeah,
not. Maybe sometimes you just have to filter it out, like what can be and cannot be true. But this guy was, there's the rumors that Kamala Harris is busing people into her, events and everything. And there's a picture of him being bussed in, and to her one of her events. So like there's some weird connections here.
yeah,
I don't know, like MK Ultra type of stuff. I don't know if it's, like you said, BlackRock stuff. But at the end of the day, the media needs to quit this whole, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. No, he's not. He's just
yeah.
as passionate, if anything, as Kamala Harris trying to be president. And
Right.
and I'll put it that way just because they should be.
Right.
There should be passion. There should be competitiveness. But Donald Trump is not a threat to democracy. Like,
No, man. No, I have never. I mean, you can turn and there's videos that speak negatively about both candidates.
yeah,
Um, so it's the tale of the tape, man. It's how well you can edit. It's how well you can cater what people say, chop it up, put it to an agenda, put it on a promo package, being positive or negative.
hmm,
It's it's very manipulation
yeah, it really
is like
is.
a key factor in running for a presidency, which is crazy. We try to spend our lives staying away from being gaslit by people or lied to. We try to make sure our circle, and then the people that are running for the biggest job in our nation are doing exactly that. They're throwing blankets over farts.
That's why I like.
They're
That's why I like independent. Oh snap! My camera went
I
out.
lost you, man. Oh,
1 second.
um, was your camera overheat?
No, the battery died.
Oh, yeah. I think I stay hardwired in.
I am too, but
Laz made me buy this fancy camera when we first started, and it's actually way nicer than it needs to be. I could take it places. It's like a real camera. We'll have to do a gear setup one of these days
yeah, we should.
on everything if people were curious about doing podcasts, because you don't need to do it with
Latest and
fancy
greatest.
cameras and elaborate setups and stuff. But I mean, it doesn't hurt. But and you can get an AI. You can get an AI bot that will um, basically break up your podcast and put it into clips and put you on YouTube, hoping that people like and subscribe. So this is Bro Media Technical. This is like the equivalent of breaking a guitar string and the singer, moi, uh, killing time while the guitar player is replacing the string on his fiddle. I don't even know if you're there anymore. I'm just talking to myself.
Nope, I'm here.
Hey, good thing we're not live. There you are.
I'm gonna try something here.
Oh, and he's gone. And it's gone. Hey, there you are.
All right, let's hope that that sticks there.
Yeah.
Uh
You got your guitar string changed out?
yeah, and I had to swap out to a different resolution because I was trying to record myself here in 4K. So
I was having the same problem with my camera. It would turn off.
yeah, it's just the processing and the
Yeah.
heat. Yeah, so down to 10.
I can't tell a difference though. You don't look like you're not in 4K.
Yeah, so I think we're good now. All right, so yeah, Donald Trump, not a bad guy. I trust independent media currently right now a little bit more than the Fox News, the CNN, the MSNBC.
Yeah.
These people have really proven themselves to be dishonest, and
Big time.
for what reason? Clicks and views. I don't like that. That's really not what they should be
Yeah.
trying to get. They should be actually being what they're supposed to be doing is spreading news and being, you know,
Yeah.
object. How should I even say it?
It's
Like
it goes
just
back to the
honest,
thing we were talking about with leverage. All of these people have been in the same room at some time to each other. They probably broke bread together. They've probably said nice things about each other. But now it's game time, and they're leveraging to win. And so they're gonna bring up as much dirt as they possibly can. They're gonna try to get Trump arrested a billion times. They're gonna try to bring up stuff that really wasn't that big of a deal, and try to charge him for it. Um, of course, this is just my opinion. It's that it doesn't mean that you have to agree with, not you, but I'm saying who's
Yeah,
ever listening.
yeah,
It doesn't have to agree with that. It just seems that it seems that they will try to take something from the past of their opponent and bring it right into the table and make everyone stare at it. Like, look, see what he did back in this, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 20 years ago. Clearly he's a terrible person, and same thing with Kamala. You can see her wandering around with Montel Jordan or Arsenio Hall or whoever that was, wilding out, look, doing stuff, being crazy. She was passed around clearly.
mm-hmm.
It was talked about. It was, they all were. They're all playboys in their own way. Um, but now they're in the spotlight running for the president. So now they're playing this carefully threaded game of who can talk the most trash, you know, and blow things up to be like, see, he's a bad person. See, you know what I mean?
Yep. But I think for the most part, the American people, for the most part, the middle ground people, which is usually the ones that hold the key to an election. They're watching. People aren't
Yeah.
dumb. You know what I mean? They know when they're being gaslit. They know
Yeah.
when somebody's being fake. They know when something's being scripted. For the most part, like we're able to tell when we go to a movie that it's a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's great to see polls that way right now, but just the Trump team don't act like it's in the bag yet. Act and work as if we're 20 points behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So put in that
Well,
overtime.
those are promising numbers, man. I mean, I have my opinion on who I want to win, but uh, I can only speak for what I know is right for me and my family and my
Right.
business, and me as a entrepreneur. What works, and I know what doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been experiencing that. That's also why I'm so tired. I have to work a million times harder um, to make it all happen, which is fine. Um, but it wasn't always that way, So
Right on.
we'll see. Um,
So what else we
we'll
got?
see. It's going to be an interesting couple months. It's getting close. It's go time.
All right. So actually, let me see if I can share audio here. Share because this one was awesome. It's a video.
I get up at 4:45 in the morning and I don't see a sign of the government anywhere. Every single day for 8.5 hours, I exchange my time for labor. I don't see the government anywhere, except for on Thursdays. Thursdays, I get my paycheck. That's when the government shows up. That's when they feel they are entitled to split half of the currency I made for trading my time, my skills, my labor. This goes on throughout the year, where I'm responsible to keep records of all of this. At the end of the year, it's my responsibility to prepare all that documentation for them to review it. They then determine if their cut was large enough. If I don't meet their schedule, I face fines, fees, or the threat of being locked up in one of their cells. I guess some people call this taxation, but it doesn't meet my definition. To me, that sounds a lot more like fraud, embezzlement, and fucking slavery. I think it's long past due that we all stop participating in this.
It is, man. The IRS is a bunch of pimps, dude. I'll say it. We're all the hosts. Like we literally we have to give them that money. We have no choice. We have to die. We have to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only things that are definite in this world. And it's really frustrating. I couldn't agree more with that video. Video gets me hyped because I'm a tradesman. I'm working my ass off. I'm doing the things with my people.
Right.
And I got to pay somebody else for that
A
on
good chunk
something
of
that's
change
already
too.
been taxed 1,000 times over. That's absolutely fraud.
There's another great
It's
video.
pimpery. It's pimpery at its highest form.
There's another great video. It's a girl. She's all like, try figuring it out herself. Like, so I get money from a company that's already paid taxes, and when I get that money, I pay taxes on it. But when I go spend this money, I get taxed on it. When I give it to somebody else, they get taxed on it.
Yeah.
And it's this like endless cycle of like, what really is this dollar worth?
It's been taxed so many times. The dollar isn't even a dollar. It's been taxed more than the dollar.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's absolutely ridiculous. It is special needs to the highest level, to put it PC.
It's just really tough to even say, okay, taxing is reasonable when they're just handing money left and right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And all you see is those trillions and trillions, and the debt calculator just go up. Especially over the last, like, what is it, 15
Well,
years? Like, it's grown
yeah.
exponentially. But
All of our, people, and nothing against people that struggle with, being on government assistance, but that's it. This is where it comes from. Guys like you and me, that are living life, being honest, earning a wage, and paying our taxes. That's where you're able to buy your food from. Guys like us, guys and girls like us that work our asses off and have no choice but to pay taxes for being successful, which is fine, but it's a lot. I've owed the IRS quite a bit of money and paid them suckers down and off, and I've had to take out loans to do that. Meanwhile, people are free riding, just free riding the train, man. They got the stamps, they got And I get it. Not everybody is going to set themselves up to be successful, but you do have the same 24 hours in a day that I have. And you can find something you're good at. You can start an own business. And I can rant on this forever. I don't even have a high school graduation. I'm sorry, a high school diploma. As you can tell my sentences. I got up and walked out my junior year of high school. Never went back. Never went to college. I did for a second. I just wanted to meet chicks, but I had no intentions of studying. And I worked. I worked and I worked and I worked and I learned everything I learned was right outside the door in the street. I learned by hands on, and I found something that I was good at and I was passionate about, and I'm still doing it to this day, and I'm thankful for that.
Right.
And I don't mind paying taxes. I don't mind doing those things because that's part of my freedom, I guess, is being able to not have to punch a clock and not have to answer to a corporation, except for the ones that we do installs for and stuff like that. But I don't have a boss other than the woman I married, and and I'm pretty stoked on that. But you know, that fires me up, man.
No,
I think people will say, "Oh, must be nice." Don't ever must be nice me.
They don't know
what I mean?
They don't know the pressure that you go through day by day, week by week, month by month, especially when you're watching your P&L. You have to pay your guys, you have to pay your company bills, and at the end of the day, it's like, do I have any money for myself to,
No.
as
everything
business?
Is covered though. Everything is covered, but do I have an elaborate bank account for myself? No. The business has money, but I mean, it has to. I mean, it has to operate.
I looked up some numbers here. So in fiscal year 2023, the federal government spent $6.1 trillion. And I asked the question here also, how much did the government collect? $4.47 trillion. So something's wrong.
Something's not right. They're funding shit overseas. They're funding everything with dudes like us, man. And it's frustrating. I mean, we have no choice. You have to do it. You have to pay. You have to do it. It is what it is what they say. And I hate it when I hear that someone say, "Oh, you got to pay Uncle Sam." Man, I don't think Uncle Sam lives like I don't think Uncle Sam is the same Uncle Sam we're talking about.
Yeah, I really wonder what Uncle Sam or George Washington or Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, what they would say if they found out how much in taxes we're paying nowadays. Imagine
absolutely absurd.
Like they threw a BF because they were taxing their tea.
Yeah.
It's a famous story. The Boston Tea Party, like when they dumped all the tea in the ocean because what were they charging them? I forget. It might have been
it was barely a percentage.
It was like 3% if I recall.
Yeah. They were like, "Nah, fam, we're gonna flip your boats, throw all this into the ocean."
What would they do nowadays if they saw that we're paying a 19%, a 25%,
credit cards that are 35%. There's everything is unreasonable.
So I'm if you're watching,
the rent is too damn high.
You should question all politicians and how they're spending our money. Like at the end of the day,
because we're not saying our money, your money too.
Yeah, it's your money, my money, his money.
If you're listening and you're in the United States, you pay taxes.
Yeah,
unless you're figured it out. In which case, good on you, but you you paying taxes somehow. Whether it's state tax, sales tax, federal tax, getting taxed by anything and everything. That's part of life, man. It does suck, and I wish there was. In a perfect world, you're like, man, how could you just abolish the IRS? Like I've seen those T-shirts and I've seen those hats, and yeah, it sounds fantastic. But what would that actually do? That's how you find out where your money's going. If everyone said, you know what, we're done, have our own Boston Tea Party moment.
Yeah.
Everyone get effed, not doing it. and everyone sticks to it, basically goes on a strike as a union, nation, worldwide or nationwide, what would happen? Like, what would it crash? What would actually stop working?
I can tell you a
Would
few
it be like,
things probably like that. Our government's definitely bloated,
yeah,
and there's probably so many unnecessary departments and positions, and not talking about the people. I'm just talking overall organization wise. I definitely
yeah,
think that the government is bloated and the overspending is crazy. I saw a few reports that there's a gentleman. He brings out a bag of like nuts and bolts or something like that. He's at a hearing. He's like, "How much do you think this cost?" And there's a video of it out there, and he's all like, $45,000 for this bag of nuts and bolts. Where in
yeah,
reality, it was like probably like $2-3 wholesale. You know what I mean, for that whole bag of nuts
yeah,
and bolts. I can tell
sure,
you that type of spending exists left and right in the government.
yeah. It's it's insane.
So
It's insane, and we don't get a say. We just have to accept it.
yeah, and you're insane if you're questioning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like no, like I want to see more efficiency. I want to see people caring a little bit more, not just we're America and that's just the way it is.
right. Well, that's what we're trained to say is, oh, it's just part of life. You got to
Yeah,
do it.
you're a great American if you pay your taxes.
Yeah. No, you're out of institutions if you pay your taxes. You're out of
Yeah,
you're out of trouble, and you can remain to be, free
yeah.
if you pay your taxes.
All right, so we watched the debate. Did you watch the last debate?
Yeah.
All right, so here's the lady's take on it, and we'll we'll give a response right after what she says.
Anything for the undecided. I just finished putting my daughter to bed and wanted to share my thoughts on tonight's debate. So, this debate clearly pandered to the existing base of each candidate, but I don't think did anything for the undecided voter. This is why it is so important for the undecided voter to do their own research. To Kamala supporters, she came off as very strong. To Trump supporters, Trump came off as targeted by the left-wing moderators who clearly skewed representation in favor of Kamala. But here's the reality. If you're living in America today, you probably watch this while also thinking about a chronically sick child, a parent, or a friend. On issues of healthcare, we don't need more sick care programs. We need less sick people and healthy food. And that is precisely the plan we have in motion with President Trump. I can personally tell you that the worst part of watching tonight's debate for me was the American public couldn't see who is standing behind each candidate. Behind Trump is a whole movement of Make America Healthy Again and putting an end to the industrial war complex. Behind Kamala are the BlackRock executives who are running offices out of Kiev because the war in Ukraine is so enriching for them. Behind her also are the big pharma executives who have pocketed trillions off of taxpayers via the Affordable Care Act. I wanted to see something very compelling from Trump tonight because that's the candidate that has embraced making America healthy again, fixing the economy, and putting an end to military escalation. It is no secret that Kamala received favorable treatment by the ABC moderators, but the left, and especially boomers on the left, they can't see it. They are under the spell of the mainstream media, and they are programmed to see Trump as a felon and a liar. The moderators tonight were so quick to fact check Trump, but conveniently ignored Harris repeating things like the Charlottesville hoax, which has been debunked by Snopes, or her false claim about police officers being killed on January 6th. These are blatant lies, and they're easily disproven, yet they were left completely unchallenged by two of the supposedly top journalists in the industry. As independent voters, we have an uphill battle to climb to show the undecided
So that's her.
Oh,
That's her take on the debate. I watched it. I'm not sure if you watched it, but that's
yeah,
there's a lot to unpack there. But I guess goes back to why I say that I don't trust the mainstream media, just
right.
from what I saw, and I do agree with the way that they treated Trump, and not so much because he's my favorable candidate, but
Yeah,
because when I think debates, it should be an even playing field, equal treatment, and professionalism.
yeah,
Um, Especially in these super, high stakes, debates. So I do think, especially when I was watching it, and I'm like, is he debating uh, the vice president, or is he debating the the moderators? Because they kept, like she said, fact checking them even
yeah.
when their own fact checks weren't even correct.
Right. That's frustrating. Hey, Kamala's she will make a statement and then have a question asked about it, and then she'll just repeat her statement and not answer the question,
Yeah.
and then just be elaborate with her response about her statement, and it never really gets to the question being answered, which like it's literally a form of talking around like of talking around the question and gaslighting the answer, whatever you want to, whatever term you want to throw at it. So it's interesting the chess game that they play with that verbal jujitsu, you
Mm-hmm.
know, with you got people doing that, and at the same time they're they're trying to campaign and throw dirt at each other. It's I just can't wait to get the voting done and see what happens.
I think that's where I'm at too. I think, like, we're,
Yeah,
what is it? November 5th is when it happens. I just really, really hope that both candidates are safe till we get there. I don't want
yeah,
anything bad to happen to either
right. Yeah,
Kamala
that's
Harris or Donald Trump. Like if you're watching this and you're definitely like, Trump's evil, he's the worst thing in the world, you know, let's speak real here. No, he's not. Same thing as Kamala Harris. They're just people. You know what I mean?
right.
At the end of the day,
They're just humans.
they put on the pants just the way you and I do. They eat the way you and I do. They might eat different food, high end foods, but
Yeah,
but they eat, they drink water, you know, they're just like you and I. So
yeah,
that I don't know what more to add to that, but just that to that clip, just I just want it to be brought down a little bit more temperature wise. It's like
yeah,
I don't know how much more as a country we can take, of being of like up here, like they're crazy, they're evil type of talks,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's either going to go higher, it's going to escalate, or it's like everybody's just starts taking chill pills. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
like like what else needs to happen to get us to that level?
I mean, I think that it's very much hinging on November 6th, man. You know, I think the Democrats are supposed to vote on the 7th. I
Probably.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
might have to vote on the 7th. But I
Probably.
mean, it comes down to if Trump wins, there's going to be an uproar. If Kamala wins, it's going to be an uproar. If Trump, actually gets shot or assassinated, which I wish that upon no one, there's going to be an uproar. If Kamala somehow is, served up some sort of whatever, there's going to be an uproar. Like no matter what, there's going to be division, and that's like the tail of the tape for centuries is there's always people wanting something that you don't, or vice versa, and the division continues. And so it's sad, but it's getting worse. And but also we're a lot softer of a nation. We're not throwing stuff over the. We're not executing people for you know, for the small things they used to execute people for, like, you know, or any of that. Like we're a softer nation. We have words, but we don't have actions like we did, you know, the old days. Even from when I was a kid, if you talk shit, you get hit. You know, that was how it was. Um, and that made me a gentleman as I got older because I don't like being punched in the face, and I don't like punching people in the face either. It hurts your hands. It's not fun. Just be cool, you know. So you know, I hate that we're in a worse spot than we've ever been, and we're a soft nation. Well, my camera just went out of focus. That was weird. There we go. I hate that we're a softer nation than we used to be, and we're in a worse spot. It kind of makes you wonder, how do we get it back? You know, who fires the first you know, the first reconstruction blow, I guess you could say, to going back to having some organization and trying to work on division in this world, man. Sad. It's sad that we can't see eye to eye on everything, and so therefore we hate each other.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I'm on the same page with you. I really want to see a unity back.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it this way, but like a post 9/11 unity, like
Yeah.
like obviously there was a tragic thing that happened, and you know we in memory of 9/11, you know, that just happened last week for
Yeah.
us after we recorded this. But like, just remember, like the day after, everybody was, you know,
They came together.
came together, USA, you know, flags on their cars, this like, you don't mess with my brother, you don't mess with my sister, you
Right.
know, feel in the air, patriot, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people were patriotic.
Yeah. I even remember the World Series, man. Like,
Yeah.
you almost kind of wanted New York to win, even though the Diamondbacks were like from, you
Oh,
know,
that's
we're,
right. That's right. Yeah.
and I remember watching that game like,
Yep.
gosh, I want to win, but I also felt really bad for New York, and they really could use a win, you know?
But I think even with the Diamondbacks winning, like it was just like people were just excited that everybody was watching
Yeah.
this World Series game. Like it was such
Yeah.
a power. Like I remember it to this day too. You know what I mean? Like people were just united everywhere. Sports,
Yeah.
communities, church, everything. Like it was
Yeah.
like
People were really
let's do
affected
that
by that.
minus a tragedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Well, that goes back to our opening statement about, you know, our highs and lows with your uncle's service. It brought people together that and realized that, you know, time has passed and we shouldn't let it pass, or whatever it is. It brought the differences and the division. It took it out of the equation.
yep.
You know, whether it's a work excuse or a life excuse, family excuse, you're busy. We're all busy. I know busy is an excuse for a lot of things, but it really does happen. But tragedies bring people together, unfortunately. You know, it's almost like this love affair we have with sadness. Um, that brings people together and makes you realize that, you know, all this isn't worth it. You know, me being too busy, or me having this lifestyle, or me, you know, having these issues, or not talking to you because we've had smoke in the past, whatever it is, you're able to just erase it. And it's always by that love affair of having, you know, some sort of tragedy,
Right.
that sad story that the American people are kind of addicted to. Because it does break down the walls. Nothing breaks down a wall faster than, you know, a death, or um, people coming together and being sad in the same room. So, or, you know, I even knew somebody in that tower, second tower, that was a family, was uh, my half brother's dad, um, was married to a lady named Kay, and her daughter was engaged to a guy. His name was Doug, that was in that tower. And we all hung out. He was a great dude.
Mm-hmm.
Doug was cool people. And he worked like right above, like I think it was like the 90th floor or something, right above where the second plane hit. And so, you know, we never heard from him again. It was terrible. But I think like somebody knew somebody, or just seeing how affected and how whenever you see like people come together, it's contagious. And I always say this to my guys for work, say it to my family, I say it to most people that want to hear me talk. Morality is contagious. So if you're going forward as a leader and you're being courageous and you're being forthright, then that's contagious. If you go and you look timid and I start losing trust in you, that's also contagious. So it's practicing those values to bring your families together, to keep the peace maybe in your own family or with your own friends or whatever. If you practice those things, then that's like we say in our thing all the time: be kind for no reason. Doesn't really cost you anything except just being kind. Um, and you get better results.
Yeah, I think
If I came in here and I was angry the whole time and not engageable in conversation, it wouldn't be a podcast either. It would be you talking to a grumpy old dude on the other end. So, yeah, man,
man,
it really is
that leads us straight into our segue to thanking people for tuning in tonight.
100%.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We love that even if you watch this for 1 minute, thank you for that 1 minute of your time, because you could have easily spent it somewhere else. And if you found
Yep.
value in our podcast here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel so you can find your way back to us when we upload videos or we live stream. We appreciate you for doing that. About 90% of people watching us are not subscribed, but we do appreciate you for doing that to us. It's free, doesn't cost a thing, and it motivates us to keep on going. And Ryan, go ahead and sign us off.
Does that still give you the thumbs up when I do that? No,
no.
It went away. But yeah, like Laz was saying, we really appreciate your time. Time is so valuable. And once that second's gone, it's gone. So if you've chosen to click on us by curiosity, or you thought Laz was, who's that handsome dude? We want to check Laz out for a second, then we appreciate that, man. We really value that people are actually watching and they're commenting and they're tuning in, and getting texts from people, hey man, I saw your podcast. It's just a cool experience. We try to keep it really simple, and try to keep it unbiased. And I realize that right now we're in this political times, and so Laz and I happen to share the same views on a lot of things, on most things. So of course we can't help but when we try to present our beliefs in a way that's not harmful and not, making the other side of the thing worse. Like try to practice what you can have an opinion and not be a jerk. And so that's kind of what we're trying to practice here. Please like and subscribe, share it, podcast. We try to do these every Wednesday, and every other Monday we do live. So that would be fun to see you guys tune in and get interactive with us. We'll chat with you, and as chats are coming in. Maybe you can throw some topics at us. We have our own podcast deal pulled up on our corners of our screen so we can see you. So once again, man, thanks again. Be sure to practice being kind for no reason. It's do something nice for somebody, whatever you see fit, and see how you feel about it. And it's contagious too, because it makes people feel good. And that's we're humans. We're here to take care of each other. So it's about time we start looking out for each other more. So thanks again. We'll see you next week. Peace.